blog, the Alliance blog, the Alliance blog, the Alliance blog. Alliance? If you put an S in front of Alliance, you have Salliance. That's me.
Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive pop with Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance blog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Bobby.
Why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth. Is it true that your dad has a ringside seat, but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome!
Well, the graphics stuck, but we're here. I think we're here. Can you guys hear me? Yes, we're here. Welcome to the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source, whether that's true or not, for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is Jay Callen. Every Tuesday, I come to you to talk all things NWA, powered by W, driven by passion, motivated by women. Just kidding. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. My name is Jay Cal. This is the pre-party. And like I said, every Tuesday we come to you to talk some NWA. And today is no different. Sorry for the late start. On a more somber, more serious note, it is today's my dad's birthday. My pops, Papa Jay Cal. And without him, I wouldn't be here. And my dad would have been 83 today. And it's somber because my pops did pass away 7 years ago tomorrow. So I've been in kind of a weird mood today. And just letting you know, full disclosure, I'm not my best right now, but I'm trying. I'm here. Thank you, Sam Retro. Yeah, Papa J Cow would have been he would have been 83. And you know, my dad took me to my first wrestling show. I remember almost like it was yesterday. I was in junior high, and a independent wrestling company was coming to my high school, my junior high and high school. Our school was on the same campus, although we were a relatively large, I don't want to say relatively large, medium-sized school. We had both our middle school and high school on the same campus. And so your boy Jay was like a eighth grader. And this wrestling company came to my school. And most notably off of the roster were two of the lovely ladies of Glow Wrestling, Ms. Hollywood and Cheryl LaRussa. And they had been working the independents in Southern California at that time. And back then, independent wrestling was not the staple of entertainment that it is today. And there was a talent who had wrestled maybe a handful of matches from the AWA, who was the top draw for that event. And like I said, I remember like it was yesterday. There was a brawl between the two femme fatales, and they literally spilled into my lap. And that was the day that young Jay Cow became a man. But more so, it was the first time I'd ever been to a live wrestling event, and my pops was the one that took me. And, we grew up as a wrestling household. Like, we literally were watching, Monday Night Raw, or back then it was, we were watching Primetime Live on USA. We would watch, at 6:00, well, it's 3:05 on the West Coast. We'd throw on, Saturday nights on TBS. We'd get the NWA, later WCW. And so, I mean, that was my life, man. That was growing up, being a big fan of wrestling. And the first show I ever went, my dad took me to. So not that he was the biggest wrestling fan. In fact, if you had asked him, his favorite was Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And that was mostly because he was, a little on the slow side. But yeah, man, that was those were some good days. And my dad would always sit there and watch wrestling with me, even during the Monday night wars. Fortunately, Monday Night Football would win, but then after football, we'd turn on USA or TNT and to watch Smack or Raw or Nitro, and those are some good memories. So thanks for hanging out with me and humoring me, letting me talk to you about my pops, who again was very supportive about me enjoying wrestling. Never made me feel bad for being a wrestling fan, even though that wasn't exactly his cup of tea. Like I said, he was very cool about it. And no, that wasn't my dad calling. Sorry about the interruption. But yeah. So anyways, Dad, love you. Wish you were here. I wish he would have been around to see or hear me go to China. I would have loved to get his take on me going to China to watch wrestling. But anyways, we're here and we're live to you, the Alliance fan. We are weeks away from the 76th anniversary show. Couldn't be more excited about that. A lot of positive things going on. A lot of exciting stuff going on leading up to the 76. The least of which is, there's going to be an autograph signing the night before at a Walmart, not far from the venue. There's a lot of cool things going on. Some of the matches that have been announced for the 76, of course, we know that the Burke Invitational is shaping up. That's it premiered at the 73rd anniversary show. We saw it return last year at the 75th, where Kenzie Page won the Burke Invitational and the next night challenged for the title. Now, I don't think we're going to see that this year. I don't think that they're going to go back to back in the same night. We know the 76th anniversary show will be a one night only event. It's not a 2-day thing like it had been in the past. Already announced for the Burke will be Kayla Rossi, Hollywood Haley J, Misty Marks, Kylie Page, Adriana Mosley, and of course Natalia Markova. Rounding out, I'm sure there'll be more names added to that list. Of course, there are only so many slots at the 76th anniversary show. There's only so many spots, and because it is one night as opposed to 2 nights, they're gonna have to compress a lot into this event. Last year, we had the Burke Invitational. We had the Clown Fun Box match with the Clowns of Dysfunction versus La Rebellion. A lot of that stuff they're gonna have to trim the fat on. There's just not enough time. And of course, we saw that with the Crockett Cup this year. They compressed that into one night. Which I do feel like it hurt the quality of the tournament. But, they had matches leading up to it as part of the cup itself. But I don't feel like that's quite the same. Other matches announced for this night, we're going to see the NWA United States Tag Team Championship on the line when Talos and Daisy Kills defend against the Country Gentlemen, the Slime Balls, and the Fixers. That match is that's a no-win situation. You're definitely making it difficult for Talos and Daisy Kills to walk out of that arena as tag champions, considering the fact that they have 3 opponents. They only have to get beat once to lose the titles. And in a situation like that, I don't know if they haven't exactly said whether if it's just a pinfall submission match, or if, you know, the title can change hands on the disqualification. There hasn't been a lot of details with that matchup. Also, for the 76th anniversary show, we've got Alex Misery and Jack Cartwheel battling each other in a #1 contenders match for the NWA Junior Heavyweight title. That looks very promising. That looks really cool. We see the continuation of the grudge match between Murdoch's and the Southern Six. We've got Alex Taylor and Kerry Morton of the Southern Six taking on Knox and Murdoch. In this one isn't a steel cage. It's just a grudge match. We know that these teams have battled before. They battled at Crockett Cup. In fact, it was the Southern Six that ended Murdoch's quest to become the Crockett Cup repeat champions. So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big deal too. And as the Southern Six are the Crockett Cup champions from this past year, 2024, it'll be interesting to see what's going on next for them. Of course, with the NWA in flux right now, you know, the tag titles don't have opponents yet. We'll see what happens as we get closer and closer to the 76. More matches that have been announced. We know that there will be a four-way heavyweight match. Now, they're not calling this a #1 contenders match. They're not calling it a #1 contenders for the national title, for the world title. It's just a heavyweight 4-way match with Mims, Brian Idol, Burchill, and Carson Drake. Now, we haven't seen Burchill in a while. He's been MIA, but he did announce that he had re-signed. Hold on a second, guys. We haven't seen Burchill since earlier the year, but we know that he should be making his triumphant return with Carson Drake, and of course Mims and Idol. Obviously, this matchup is going to have implications for the NWA going forward, but just who walks away with that match as the victor? Then a match that everyone should be excited about: the King Bees, Charity B and Danny King taking on the It Girls, everyone's favorite, Samantha Starr and Ella Envy. And that should be an interesting bout right there. And that's what the card's looking up like right now. Of course, things are going to change soon because we know that there still needs to be a world title match announced. There needs to be the junior heavyweight title. Doesn't look like it's going to be on the line if Taylor and Kerry Morton are in a tag team match. I don't think the world junior heavyweight title will be on the line because Alex Taylor is currently your world junior heavyweight champion. So let's get down to some of the comment. Oh, and then Bobby Petito's right. La Pescadilla Ruiz, she's also in the gauntlet. I had her graphic on the other computer. I just did not get an opportunity to put it on this computer. So I thought I had it though. No, I don't. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of cool things happening in the NWA. We know that there's some pretty big events that are coming up leading up to the 76th anniversary show. We know that even following the 76th anniversary show, we've got the NWA on tour. So like they'll be in action in September, Friday the 27th in New York, Queens to be exact, and obviously there'll be implications from the 76. I don't think this match is going to be filmed for distribution, but it's still pretty cool to see that the NWA is getting out on the road again. And of course, this one is going to be a big deal happening this Saturday, August the 24th. Journey 2 live on the NWA official YouTube channel. We're going to see the stars of Exodus Pro collide. And, this is a big deal because not only are we going to see, the crowning of a new women's champion with Kelsey Heather and Tiffany Nieves, Miranda Elise, and Kylie Page battling for that Exodus Pro Women's Championship. Now, that title was originally supposed to be a title that bridged the gap of Mission Pro and Exodus Pro. with Mission Pro on hiatus, I don't know how that's going to be impacted, but of course, we will see a new champion crowned at Exodus Pro's next event. And then also we'll see the Midwest Heavyweight Championship on the line as Pretty Boy Smooth will take on Dante Casanova. Now, Dante Casanova was the odds-on favorite to win that Midwest Championship. In fact, I believe PB Smooth wasn't even originally in the tournament and ended up filling in when Dante Casanova was injured, was not able to compete. So that'll be another excellent matchup, and could be a very trying opportunity for Pretty Boy Smooth, whereas he's taking on a very skilled Dante Casanova. And of course, the main event, which is what everyone's talking about, is EC3 defending the 10 pounds of gold against Richard Holiday. Now, this again in Cleveland, that matchup is going to be live on the NWA YouTube, which is a huge deal. For almost an entire year, fans of the NWA internationally have been hamstrung by the inability to watch Power on the CW. Now, the NWA has sparingly thrown a few matches from Power this last season on YouTube, on their channel. And of course, that is the home where they do the NWA podcast that happens every Monday with Gary Horn, Danny Deals, Joe Galley, new father Joe Galley, and of course, Kyle Davis. They do their show there, but there hasn't been a lot of content available for the international NWA fans. And this will all change on Saturday night, August 24th, when talents from the NWA will be in Exodus Pro, and it will be streaming live on the NWA YouTube channel. Now, no word yet if there's going to be replays available or if the content will be on the channel after the event. All we know is that it's going to be streaming live on Saturday night. You want to check out that one. That's going to be a pretty big deal. Are you guys excited about that? Are you guys going to be watching the NWA YouTube channel this Saturday? If you're not, good chances it might not happen again. People need to get out and watch this, and it's going to be like a big deal. We're getting world title match with Richard Holiday and EC3. I mean, that's a main event match in any NWA territory. That's a main event match for any pay-per-views if pay-per-views were still a thing. I mean, honestly, I feel like that was a bigger matchup than Sam Adonis and EC3, and really that's a bigger matchup than I feel even Matt Cardona and EC3. This is a big deal and could definitely have implications to what we're going to see at the 76, how that's all going to play out. And I'm so excited for that matchup. And I will have my daughter with me this weekend. She just turned 20 yesterday. Yeah, we're a very Leo-centric family, apparently. And my oldest turned 20 just yesterday. So this weekend we'll be celebrating her, but I'll be trying to watch on my phone, whether we're out and about or watching it on the big TV if we're home, because this is a huge deal. I'm very excited about that. Let's get to some of your comments. I don't mean to ignore you guys. It's been one of those days today, and one of those days where we thank God for Dubby. Keeps us powered up and ready to go. Here we go. That beach and peach, it'll knock your socks off. Let's get to your comments. I haven't been meaning to ignore you, just haven't gotten to you guys. But Steve G's in the house. Retro's here. Willie Bowen's joke of the day goes, Tyrus is on Fox News. You can imagine how many broken chairs and toilet seats are there for him. Yeah, he's a big guy. Bobby Battito's in the house. Noob is here. What's up, Noob? Our good pal Showgain is here. Showgain, obviously, I don't know if that's obvious, but Showgain is also the founder of the Wrestling Titles History website, a website that very much inspired the alliance-wrestling.com website. And the great Hisa has put in so much work onto that site and keeping track of the title histories. We appreciate him for that. And of course, if it wasn't for him doing that, there would have been a lot of misinformation with regards to the NWA throughout the years. So Hisa is an all-star as far as I'm concerned. He's always got a seat at the table here at the Alliance blog. Like I said, Steve G's here, Willie's here, Retro's here. Willie Bowen says, the first wrestling match I saw live was Blackjack Mulligan versus the Sheik in a Texas death match. And I'm sure that would have been an amazing matchup to see. Yeah, Texas death match for your first match. That's pretty incredible. My first match was the opening card to that event. And somewhere it's on YouTube. One of these days I should go back and rewatch it, but it's on YouTube somewhere. Retro just asked if we're doing a watch along, and unfortunately, I'm having my daughter here, and we're celebrating her 20th birthday. So the answer is probably no. Now, if you guys want to do a watch along, we could always set it up in the Discord, or you guys could just do it in the chat with the YouTube, with the NWA YouTube channel. But yeah, I don't think I'll personally be there because again, it's my daughter's birthday weekend. Willie says that he loves Viperous based on Bobby Petito saying, I recently watched Viperous have a match at New Japan Academy Showcase that aired on the NWA, the New Japan Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. Sorry, guys. I got a little bit of business to take care of. Steve G said the first show that he saw was Freddie Blassie versus Victor the Wrestling Bear. Amazing. That's great. Sean Mega's in the house. What's up, Sean? Welcome to the card. Welcome to the show. Noob says, did anyone watch EC3 and the Wrestling with Outlaws with Vince Russo, where EC3 said that Asuka was quietly released from the WWE? I mean, look, I know that EC3 has spent some time in the WWE system. You know, he was in NXT. He is a multiple-time hardcore champion, or the 24/7 title, whatever they called it. I don't remember recently. So he has experience in the WWE farm system, but I don't know that he is adequately. If he's the source, if he's the best source to determine who is and is not being released from the WWE. Now, I could be mistaken, but Asuka was over. So if they are releasing her, that's a huge opportunity for her to go elsewhere. But I just don't think that's happening. And if it is, what a mistake from the WWE, and somebody should capitalize on that. I'm interested in to see what EC3 and Tom Latimer do at the 76. I do too, man. I'm just wondering what's happening. You know, because we're building up to this 76th anniversary show, I kind of like the fact that they didn't just give us a big old giant press release, and that they're building things up a little bit with anticipation. But I do want to know who EC3 is wrestling before we go down to Philadelphia. Like, it's not going to change whether I go to the event or not. I've already bought tickets. This is a big old thing for your boy Jay, but be nice to know what they're going to do. And I feel like any last minute, announcements, you're not really building up to it, which has been a very big problem for me as being a fan of the NWA. I don't feel like they're spending enough time building up to matches. Now, they've announced a lot of matches for the 76, but where's the build that should be associated with that? Like, putting Danny B and Charity King in a tag team match with the It Girls is great, and I think it'll be a good match, but where was the build for? When are we going to start talking about that? When are we going to see the NWA teasing this matchup? Because of course you've got the women's tag team champions, and so far Ella Envy has been unsuccessful in wrestling for the women's world title, wrestling for the women's television title, and Samantha Starr has been in her corner for both of those opportunities. Now she'll be her tag team partner, and this will be Ella Envy's third opportunity to challenge for a NWA championship. But what is the story behind it? Why is she getting this opportunity? Why are they getting an opportunity as a tag team? Who'd they beat to become number one contenders? It's one of those deals where I get it. Like, maybe I'm a stickler for the old school, but I like when there is an explanation to why we're getting matches. Sure, everyone wants to be champion. Everyone wants to be on the top of the card. But there should be a pecking order. Who did you beat to get there? Why is it Ella Envy and Samantha Starr? Why isn't it not the combination of Reka Tahaka and Tiffany Nieves? Or why is it not Ruthie J and La Rosa Negra? Why are we getting this team who, as a tag team, haven't even wrestled as a tag team yet? These are the kind of things that bother me. And Double D is here. What is up, Double D? My guy. Yeah, I agree with you, Bobby. I think it's great that the NWA is on the road. Sean says that the Queen show will be filmed. That's great, man. That is a very cool thing. And, Billy Corgan had mentioned that there was works for another NWA program. Maybe we'll see the return of USA. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. If they're filming stuff, it would lead me to believe that they are. Of course, maybe they're just filming it for Power, because after the 76, there will be the next announced event. The signature live event is the Samhain 2. And then after Samhain 2, it goes to the end of the year where they have the Looks That Kill pay-per-view, if I'm saying it right. Let me see real quick. So yeah, we have Samhain 2, which is October 26th, which is, there's a month from the 76th anniversary show to Samhain, and then Looks That Kill back in Dothan on December the 14th. So again, if maybe that is just a TV taping, which I think is still a great idea, but getting to Looks That Kill. Remember, the NWA has had 52 weeks of television this year, and it hasn't stopped. They've been on the CW for 52 weeks all year, and in order to get there, there cannot be a break in the action. The matches that we watched the last few weeks were actually filmed back in April. Then we got we're heading into returning to the territories, which I think is on this week's episode. I could be mistaken, but I think that's this week's episode is Return to the Territories, and we should have that for like the next month. And then we're at the anniversary show, and then once we get through the anniversary show, then there is now apparently the Queen's taping, and then Samhain and Looks That Kill. So that's got to carry them throughout the rest of the year. So we'll see how that all pans out, if that's gonna do it. More comments. I told you I'm old, Double D. I told you that. And that's not news. Retro's going to watch it live. Yeah, and I think, like you said, the implication for 76, would anyone here be shocked if EC3 lost the title ahead of 76 and that 76 main event is a return match? It would make a lot of sense if you're putting the live event on YouTube, basically telling your fans like, hey, this match is important. It's so important that we're putting a live event on YouTube, which we haven't done in over a year or almost a year. I think that means something that's significant is going to happen. Now they are crowning a new women's champion. The Midwest title's on the line. But at the end of the day, I think, if you've got EC3 and Richard Holiday, something big may happen. Maybe not. Maybe we're all reading the tea leaves wrong, but I feel like something big is going to happen. Bobby Petito says Richard Holiday is great. I'm excited for Richard Holiday. I like him. As Jaden said last week on the Alliance guys, it's shocking to me that guy isn't signed somewhere. And if I was running the NWA, he is certainly a person that I would hold on to for as long as I could. Sam Retro says, as far as I'm concerned, this is a free pay-per-view. Exactly, man. Devin Dowling says his first match was Kurt Angle versus Eugene at a live show where he saw Angle's ass. Needless to say, I'm jealous of your first show. Yeah. Vipress, love to watch her. Yeah, Steve, she's a nice looking lady. Asuka hurt her knee before Backlash. She's still signed to the WWE, just currently out on injury, which, that's understandable, right? You don't let talent go because they get hurt. You just let them heal up and then bring them back. If you're letting go of talent because they get hurt, that's crazy to me. There's no confirmation if Kenzie Page is going to defend the Burke at 76. That's a good point too, Noob. I have not seen that. I did recently see that Kenzie has been put in charge of the beginners class at the School of Morton, which I think is great for the School of Morton, great for Kenzie Page, great for the NWA, and could pay off a lot of dividends down the road. But as of right now, we still need a title announcement for Kenzie Page or some sort of match announcement. Sam Retro says, I think the main event will be announced at the day after Journey 2. Samantha Starr freaking sucks. You mean you're not her favorite? We'll see, man. I don't want to say she sucks, all right? I feel like as a third generation wrestler who's been wrestling for a while, I feel like she should be more advanced than she is. But, I don't want to say she sucks. Excuse me. Steve G says he's a big Jesse Jones fan. Retro says there was supposed to be an announcement on PW Insider that it was a second show in Long Island, New York, the day after the Queen event. Oh, maybe that's still going to happen. Maybe they're just still waiting to sign the, dot the letters and dot the I's and cross the T's before that contract ink is dry. We'll see. Can't believe they're doing Samhain again. I'd steer clear of that entire pay-per-view. It was me. If it was me, it'd literally be called NWA Smashing Pumpkins. I don't hate that idea, Double D. I just know that Billy is very protective of that name, Smashing Pumpkins, and he's very, which he should be, but he's been very overly protective of that name over the years. He famously told of an incident where when the Smashing Pumpkins were performing near Halloween on SNL, Saturday Night Live, that they literally wanted to have pumpkins on the stage, and Billy poo-pooed that idea, thinking it was just too on the nose, I think is what he said. Retro said if EC3 lost, that would make headlines huge for the NWA. I think there'd be a lot of people who would be interested in checking that out. Like if EC3 were to lose the title. See, and that's this is the problem with having your signature live events being TV tapings instead of their own standalone product, their own pay-per-view. Imagine this, if you will, if the CW network, CW app just aired that signature live event as a standalone 3-hour episode of the NWA, or it was like a special event available to the CW audience, but was the whole show all at once, I think that would be better for the NWA. Now, like a lot of you might be thinking, well, I don't necessarily mind watching it, in volumes instead of one night of pay-per-view. I get, 4 weeks of television. But imagine if they took that 3-hour show, released it right away, because if there is a title change at Exodus Pro's Journey 2, right? If the title does change hands and then the next month it's defended in Philly at the 2300 Arena, and let's say it's a rematch, and this is all speculation. I don't have the notes that Billy has. I don't know if what I'm talking about it will even come true, but if it does, now we're waiting a month or so to see that return bout where, what level of interest will you have a month later? It seems like this would be the ultimate opportunity to cascade on fans being, caring about the NWA, fans caring about Richard Holiday, fans caring about EC3. And if this matchup is big on YouTube, then we won't see the return bout, if that's the case, for weeks, maybe even a month after the Journey 2. So I really feel like that could hurt the NWA in terms of people caring. The hardcore NWA fans are going to watch the CW app. We're going to check it out when it comes out, regardless of how timely it is, right? But man, strike while the iron's hot. If Richard Holiday wins this Saturday, it's going to be weeks before we see that return match on TV. And, that's to say if PW Insider or one of the other reputable wrestling resources don't just make that announcement after the 76 of what happens. Hammerstone runs in and destroys EC3, helping Holiday win the gold. Double D's plans for Journey 2, I think, is I'd be all right with that. Steve G says, how long was the NWA's agreement with the CW? I don't think it was ever like put out there. I don't think we know how long the contract is. I would imagine that it I don't think that the CW would agree to a long-term deal. I just don't think that's a good idea. But maybe it's a 2-year deal. Some people had suggested that maybe it was just a year-long deal to set up, getting NXT on the CW app. But we still see that there's still the NWA still has a presence with the CW, and I don't foresee that going away anytime soon. I could be wrong. It could be a 5-year deal. It could be a 10-year deal. It could be up at the end of the month. I really don't know. And, unless I hear the NWA talk about it or the CW talk about it, I think it's just hearsay. Jeremy's here. Appreciate you, Jeremy. Hey, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast, the live stream. We do this for you. We ask nothing in return except for your undying loyalty and commitment to like, commenting, and subscribing. Sean Vega says his first live show was in '98 Raw with Foley versus Funk. Wow. I mean, in '98, Funk wasn't what he was, and nor was Foley, but it was still a good time to be a fan of wrestling. Double D says, I'm not a fan of EC3, so I'm for him losing it. I see him as Dixie's nephew and always will. Fair enough. And the argument of not even related to her in real life will change your effing initials then. I mean, EC3 does have a name that he used prior to adopting those Ethan Carter III initials. I think it was Mike Herkin or something like that. Let me see. Mike Hunter. No, excuse me. Mike Hutter. Derek Bateman. He just took the names of American Psycho and Fight Club and just went with that. How altruistic of you. Let's see. I would have Jack Cartwheel win at the NWA 76 and wrestle against Alex Taylor on the next Power tapings or pay-per-view. That might happen, Bobby. That very well might happen. Cartwheel is a freelance. He is a free agent, and I really think that he's a guy that, if the NWA can use him, they should use him as often and as regularly as they can. I mean, eventually, I think at some point, Cartwheel's going to look for a contract and to be locked up somewhere. I don't know that the NWA would want to pay him what I'm sure he could get on the open market. I feel like Joe Alonzo is proof of that. Joe Alonzo is betting on himself, left the NWA, and I think he'll continue to do that. We'll see. Thanks for the likes, Bobby. Appreciate you. Breaking news, MPW is going on hiatus. Something's going on with that. Well, David, yeah, I mean, we know that Mission Pro, Mission Pro was the product of Mel Cervantes, a.k.a. Thunder Rosa, and then husband Brian Cervantes. And I know that it hasn't been real public, but we know that they have split up. And I don't know what the direction of Mission Pro will be going forward. I don't know who will still be involved going forward. And look, any relationship breaking up is not a great thing for anybody. I wish nothing but the best for Brian. He's always been kind to us here at the Alliance blog. Thunder Rosa has been a guest on the live stream before on the podcast. So I feel for both of them, and I don't want to comment on anything more than that because I don't know. I just hope that they both, find happiness. It's not a good position. I don't think most people get into a long-term relationship, get married with the intent to get divorced later. I don't think that's ever what people intend to do. Double D says, yeah, I wouldn't be happy with my wife posting pictures in just her underwear online either. I mean, look, it's a different world we live in. And your boy Jay, hey, my wife posts some risque photos online, and like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. You know, boundaries and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Brian and Mel, and I'm sorry that they're weren't able to work out, but I hope that they grow, you know, professionally and personally after this. And it sucks. It sucks. I feel bad because Mission Pro seemed like a really great place. It seemed like a great wrestling promotion with an emphasis on the women's wrestling. And I feel like, not that the time has passed, I feel like women's wrestling still needs representation. I feel like there are many promotions out there who are getting it right, but I feel like Mission Pro was doing a very good job of, you know, creating future talent that a lot of their roster got picked up elsewhere. I mean, the Renegade Twins came into the NWA, won the tag titles before going to Ring of Honor. You know, the King Bees were a Mission Pro talent. A lot of the talent, like La Rosa Negra, came from, I mean, she's been around for a while, but she has ties to Mission Pro. Genocide had ties to Mission Pro. You know, a lot of talent that the NWA benefited from having on their shows worked with Mission Pro. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with them, but I do wish that everyone involved is more successful and better than they were when they left. With that being said, Bobby Petito says he's rooting for Kylie Page in the Burke Invitational, and that would be very interesting. I mean, look, Kylie Page, the sister of Kenzie. I'm going to say this, and I don't care if you guys agree or disagree. I think Kylie Page is the more talented Page sister. I think Kylie is probably the best talent in the NWA right now. The best. Now, I like Ella Envy. I think she's a hell of a talent. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Kenzie. Kenzie had to crawl before anyone could walk and run. But I feel like Kylie is going to be the best women's wrestler to come from the NWA. There, I said it. I said it. Argue with me if you want, but you know I'm right. Double D, you have a good one, brother. Thanks for hanging out. Noob says that he believes Mark. Let me try that again. Noob believes that let me try. Third time's a charm. Noob believes that Markova will win the Burke. She needs a big win. She has been losing a lot of matches as of late. I really feel like Markova does need to win this. I don't feel like she's the only person that needs to win it, but I feel like if Markova wins, and I'm laughing because Sean made his comment. I feel like if Markova wins, it sets up a perfectly good feud for Kenzie down the road, and of course leading up to Samhain and looks a kill. I mean, there's opportunities for a Markova Kenzie program, which I think would be great. And again, giving them the opportunity to build these talents up, right? I feel like that's good. Bobby Petito says Kylie Page for Women's World Championship. I think like down the road, I don't think she's there yet, but I think she has the potential. Mega says if she's the best, the NWA is in trouble. That's what I was laughing about. Let me readjust what I was saying. I feel like at her age and her skill set is by far so ahead of her time, meaning she's such a young athlete and she's already so good in the ring that I feel like it's only up for her. It's only going to go up, bigger, better, beyond. Is she the best that the NWA has offered? No. But I feel like she's got so much talent and she's achieved so much at such a young age. Keep watching Kylie Page. Would not be surprised if she ends up as a champion before the end of the year. Whether that's the Burke, whether that's the TV title, whether that's the tag titles, I think that Kylie Page is a beast. And I mean that in the most positive way. Watch her in the ring. Watch how she does social media. And I get it because like social media is kind of a young person's thing, but watch how she does social media. She has such a high level engagement. Watch when she's interacting with the fans at the live events, how she engages the fans, whether they like her or dislike her, and then how she engages her opponents in the ring. She has all the tools to be a great storyteller. and she's a pretty good wrestler, and a lot of people think she's adorable, which can be deadly in the sport of pro wrestling. You know, beautiful is great, adorable is deadly, at least in my opinion. David Valentine says, I want Kayla Rossi to win the Burke Invitational. She's a goddess. Hey man, you know, if it's a popularity contest, if you're looking for looks, I mean, there are a lot of beautiful women in the NWA in the Burke Invitational. We'll have to just kind of wait and see. Dave Valentine says Kylie's not beating the warrior of the wasteland. That's a good point, but you know, she doesn't have to beat her, right? Because like there has been no formal announcement on who's challenging for the Burke, but we do know that a certain warrior of the wasteland, a non-binary nightmare, if you will, has more than 7 victories as women's world champion and could challenge for the Burke at the 76th anniversary show, which means she'd forfeit the television title, which means there would be a new TV champion. And, you know, I guess the Burke Invitational has to be for the Burke. You know, it has to, you know, that opportunity has to land you an opportunity to challenge for the women's world women's world championship. But would you be surprised if, you know, the person that won the Burke Invitational might become the next TV champion? I mean, that's one way to do it. Sean Mega says the NWA should have announced the full card 2 weeks ago. I don't necessarily disagree with you, Sean. Again, it's the problem is the way that the TV taping schedule is. They can't do anything concrete too soon, and it takes them too long to get things going. It's literally a catch-22. It's nice that they've had 52 weeks of uninterrupted programming, and maybe not 52. I think they're coming up on 52. But I feel like the drawback to all of this is storylines are not timely. Matches that are being announced for live events get forgotten about or not promoted in a proper way. And when you don't have to sell a pay-per-view, it's just part of a TV package, a TV taping. There isn't like a huge demand to sell tickets or pay-per-views either. Like it's kind of dumb because you're not giving the fans like an incentive to be at the live event. You know, they just don't. Like, you're not telling me who you're announcing for these matches. You know, like, yeah, the tag matches, female tag match is important, but, you know, blunt force trauma, they don't have listed opponents yet. Looks like the World Junior Heavyweight title won't be on the line. It looks like we don't know what Max is doing. And Max has 2 separate titles that could be defended at the event. No word on what Max is doing. We haven't heard who Latimer is going to be wrestling against. He's the national champion. You know, no opponent yet named for EC3. These are things that without proper build will be kind of meaningless. I mean, we can watch these matches on the CW app, but how invested are you in those matches? I mean, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be in Philly. I'm flying my family from, you know, Southern California to Philadelphia. I'm staying in a hotel. I'm paying for a rental car. Geez, I printed out T-shirts for the NWA fam. We're gonna be there. But what's the sense of urgency? There's like nothing announced is so like, ooh, I have to be there for it. You know, and I think most of us are going just to hang out. Hey, it's the Alliance guys. Let's go. You know, I can't wait to see Retro again. Luthez is going to be there. You know, Jaden is going to be there. Some of you guys never even seen Jaden, what he looks like. You're going to see him live and in person. It's going to be great. Dave Valentine says, I hope the NWA adds CEP in New York as a territory. Yeah, I mean, like, look, I wouldn't hold my breath on them adding any territory that isn't directly connected to the National Wrestling Alliance. I mean, Tennessee is such a weird thing. You know, they have 2 territories in Tennessee, and they're very closely connected to the School of Morton. You know, Ricky Morton literally works for the NWA. They're very close to the Jacobs and Pritchard Wrestling Academy, that's right there as well. The JPWA, I think that's what it's called. 2 different wrestling schools are right there in that state. And, and they have 2 different territories for that state. But they're all connected. And right now there isn't a big connection to CEP in New York with the NWA, just like there isn't a big connection to, CCW in the NWA. You can kind of make the case for WLW with Trevor being kind of a prominent figure for WLW, but he doesn't own World League Wrestling. He's not, I don't think he's like a regular roster member on that show. So they're not, I mean, they're affiliated, but they're not territory. EC3, the world's heavyweight champion. Yes, he's definitely a territory. He's the world champion. Billy Corgan claims that Chicago is his promotion, which is kind of weird because the whole NWA is his promotion. But, if you're not closely connected, you're not going to be a territory. Bobby says, I'm interested to see what NWA does with Ruthie J, Taylor Rising for the 76. Bobby, I wouldn't be surprised if they're just in the Burke Invitational. Again, there's only so many matches that they can have. There's only so many spots available. We've already have a couple of 4-ways, a 4-way tag match, a 4-way singles match. It's like they're going to shove as much wrestling into the 3-hour event that they can, but at some point there's just not enough room for everyone. CEP and the NWA are doing a show together. I get that too, David. But the NWA has done shows with Coastal Championship Wrestling. They've done wrestling with Boca Raton Wrestling. Just because they are doing an event in conjunction with somebody doesn't make them a territory. I hear you, and I don't have a problem with it. I just realistically, this is what I believe because of what I've seen from Billy. What happened to Blake Bulletproof Troop? Long time no see. Yeah, I mean, after the Crockett Cup, or prior to the Crockett Cup, we hadn't seen him on TV for a while. In fact, we haven't heard him as being one of the names that have signed a deal with the NWA. So perhaps maybe he's done. I mean, I don't know. Until the NWA announces something one way or the other, just imagine he's on the not so active roster. But we'll have to just kind of wait and see what happens next. Of course, if you've already watched tonight's Power, then you already have seen. But of course, the matches that have been announced for tonight, Boz versus Baron Von Storm. We haven't seen Boz since the TV tapings in Tennessee, so it'll be nice to see Boz back in the ring. He's taking on Baron Von Storm. Anthony Catena, which I believe is I think he's been on TV before. I haven't seen him in a while though, and he's taking on Jax Dane. That should be you never know with Jax. Like, I feel like he should be crushing dudes and just killing guys, but they don't seem to put him in that position. Of course, the World Junior Heavyweight Championship will be on the line. It's funny to me that they haven't announced specifically who and what and where. Like, they're not advertising that the current champion on television is I forgot his name. Wow, I'm having a stroke. Joe Alonzo. Joe Alonzo was the last person we saw on TV with the title. Now, they have been very verbal about the fact that Alex Taylor is champion, but we haven't seen him defend the TV. So maybe this is the Alex Taylor matchup. I don't know. I haven't watched Power yet. And those of you who have, can spoil it for us in the chat. And of course, Casey Cazana, the protege of Joe Cazana, takes on EC3. I don't expect a title change. I'd be surprised if there was. EC3 has been having really good matches all across the world. He's set to take the title to Alaska, if he's still champion. He wants to go to the Soft Ground Wrestling Alliance in Africa, which I think that's amazing. I think that's such a cool thing. And he has insisted that he wants to defend the title in the mud before they get an actual ring, which I think is also amazing. It'll be interesting to see what's going on. Bobby Petito, excellent point. Interesting that KC Cazana is getting a match against EC3. It's one of these deals where, in the last year on Power, I don't understand how they select opponents for EC3. You know, like Sam Adonis hadn't wrestled one match in the NWA in 2024 before getting a shot to wrestle against EC3 for the title. Matt Cardona hadn't been seen on television in months when he got a shot, but at least he was a former champion, so that made sense. Jax Dane got a shot, but you know, Jax Dane's a former multiple-time champion in the NWA, so that definitely makes sense. Both members of the Fixers had shots at the world title in the last calendar year. That didn't make sense to me. I just don't understand how they pick these guys to get title matches when Casey Cazana is a tag team wrestler. I don't think I've seen him have a one-on-one matchup in the NWA. And now I'm even like, now I want to look. Who has Casey Cazana wrestled against on Power? Let's see. He wrestled Anthony Andrews back in January, and he lost. Just in NWA matches. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. He doesn't have a big win-loss record as a singles wrestler. He doesn't have much of a record at all. And most of his matches have been in tag team matches. And yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, excuse me, but it is what it is. Willie says, what's the status of Tim Storm? I mean, he's wrestling tonight, Baron Von Storm. He's been wrestling quite regularly as under that gimmick. Bobby brings up the fact that EC3, absolutely. Talos, excuse me, got a shot at EC3. And again, like, what did he do to earn that title shot? Nothing, zip, zero, zilch. And that's, I think, one of my biggest problems with the NWA. If these guys were winning number one contenders matches or had, you know, a bunch of victories lined up to get these matches, then I'd be all for it. But they don't. You know, next week, are they going to put Mims in the ring with EC3? Who's Mims beat? Zion? That's it. Hey, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. I do appreciate you guys being a part of the show each and every Tuesday. It's always so much fun to share this time with you guys. Of course, we are growing the channel. We hit 5K. We are a 5,000 subscriber strong channel, and that doesn't happen without you guys doing your part. Commenting, liking, subscribing, being here for the lives, watching our shorts, watching our interviews. I appreciate you. Appreciate you very, very much. 5K. I don't know that I ever thought we'd get that big, but thank you. Thank you for 5K. I am working on getting an Alliance belt created. It'll be, when it gets here, I'll show it off to you guys. It should be pretty cool. Yeah, we'll be back here on Thursday. It should be DKM, Jaden, and myself, as long as everyone's healthy. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. I think we will be touching on some Joe Cazana promotions, maybe doing a watch along. I'm hoping that's what we're going to be doing. And of course, if you want to help support the live stream, the podcast, you know, buying the t-shirts, buying the hats. Steve, we're working on that rad hat for you. I promise. I'm working on getting that logo redesigned. We also have, you know, if you are looking for energy, I'm like me, I'm drinking Dubby today. We are sponsored by Dubby. So every time you buy a Dubby, we get a commission from that. Just make sure you use the Alliance blog in the coupon code. And of course, Trophy Smack, the makers of the future Alliance Championship, the Alliance blog title, that's being made by Trophy Smack. If you want a belt for your own fantasy baseball or you know, a work award or anything like that, I don't recommend for your actual wrestling promotion. But if you want to, you can. They have cool designs for that as well. Visit them and use the coupon code, the Alliance blog. That's going to do it for us. That's the show. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. And until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Thanks for checking out the Pre-Party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA POWERRR every Thursday at 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we all